and I was just so upset. So I just started researching, looking for answers. And through many failed attempts of trying other stuff, I found the Carnivore Diet, and it gave me so much hope. Just like watching your videos, finding out that there is maybe potentially a cure for ADHD. There is a way to reduce inflammation and chronic pain. And I just went all in. I didn't even care. My parents were saying, oh, maybe it's bad for your heart. It's not safe. But I didn't care if I get a heart attack. Life wasn't even worth living at that point. So I just went all in, and I can't even explain it. I've lost 30 kilos in 5 months.
Wow.
I've cured all of my depression. I did not experience any depression. Chronic pain has gone down so much to now I'm just working with my physio on a little bit of weakness. I fully got my life back.
I'm good. Is there two of you guys? Is Daniel with you as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought we had two guys coming in there. Yeah. Based on the accents, you're from the right place. I know it was two Australian fellas, so good to see you guys. Let's get going, man. Tell me where you guys are in Australia. Are you guys in the same location in Australia? Obviously, you're not in the same car, but I mean, are you guys in the same town, or what's the deal?
Yeah, we're in the same town. We live like probably 10 minutes drive from each other. So yeah.
Okay.
We live pretty close.
And you guys known each other for a while, or is this new?
Yeah, we've known each other since preschool.
Okay, so you're buds.
Quite a while.
Okay, so you didn't meet. You didn't come together as a romance through carnivore. You guys have known each other forever. I'm kidding on that. You guys have known each other forever, and you decided. So, well, let's just tell. What do you guys do? What's going on? Tell us a little. You take turns, split it up, however you want to do it. I guess you guys are used to kind of taking turns on stuff. So,
yeah.
What's the story?
You want to go first, Ed?
Yeah, for sure. So right now I'm studying business degree at Sydney Uni. We just finished school. And then, do you want me to kind of talk about how I found carnivore as well, do you reckon?
Sure. Whatever you want to chat about. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I finished school and then I started working as a video editor and doing a bit of like social media management and things like that. So I started actually working a real job. And then I was kind of always interested in, fitness a little bit, nutrition a bit as well. And then so I started, stumbled across the keto diet. And I also heard that it actually can increase your productivity and your focus as well. And, because I was fresh, just started working, I wanted something to, improve my productivity. So that's exactly what I tried. I tried the keto diet. I noticed an improvement in productivity. And I noticed that my energy was like a lot more consistent throughout the day. Meaning I could, stay productive until the end of the day, which was something that was really good for me. And then it was my dad that started carnivore. My dad was always trying to lose weight. He'd have, variable success. But with carnivore, he had some really, really good success. I think he lost 14 kilos pretty fast. So he hopped on carnivore. And then he was also talking about all these psychological benefits as well. So he was talking about his productivity was crazy. His mood was so much, was really improved. He just had so much more energy. And this is something that I wanted for myself as well. I was like, damn, this is crazy. So let me hop on this carnivore thing and try it out. And then I tried it out, carnivore, and that's exactly what I saw for myself as well. I saw keto was a boost, but carnivore was like another boost, which was just awesome to see. And that's why I've stayed on carnivore for the past, I think it's been 6 months now. Is that right, Dan?
Like just over 5.5 maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, it's interesting. Your father did it and brought it to you, because in my experience, most people that are willing to try this are people that are already sick. They're already like, hey, I feel like shit. My health is going to hell. I've tried everything else. I'm tired of being on pills. Every other diet I've tried has failed. These are most of the people, quite honestly, that come to this. Not a lot of young guys, because when you're young, man, you can do whatever the hell you want. You got partying, get drunk. On Monday you pop up and you're good to go again. I did that stuff. I mean, I'd be in great shape Friday night, and then I'd hit the bars, go chasing women, and then, and Monday you kind of like, I get out of bed slowly, but you pop back up right away. You start doing that stuff when you're 40 and 50, and I don't do that now, but I mean, it's a disaster. You can't do it. So I mean, it's you've got some degree of resilience when you're younger. Dan, what about you, man? How did you get involved in this stuff?
Yeah, so it was a little bit different from Ed. Ed was more trying to optimize his health. For me, it was more out of desperation. It was sort of what you were talking about, how more older people try it because they get sick and they have no other choice. Otherwise, their life's just going to go to crap. So me and Ed both started going to the gym when we were 16. We both started training, following the typical bodybuilding advice: eat high carb, take protein powders, all that. And yeah, it worked really well for building muscle, but my skin got absolutely terrible. and I had a bit of a history with depression, and I just felt like garbage all the time. And then my skin got to the point where I had these massive cysts on my skin, like huge, like volcanoes. I've even got a scar because I had to have surgery on one of them to get them cut out. It was awful. Like I didn't even want to leave the house. And then I went to the doctors. I'm like, how do I fix this? All they said was cut out dairy. It didn't work. And then they chucked me on this pill called Accutane. I don't know if you've heard of it in America, sure. Like Accutane. And man, that pill is evil. That pill is dangerous.
Yeah, don't take it if you're pregnant, man.
Sorry?
I said, don't take it if you're pregnant. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I know. That's what they said. And they said there wasn't really any side effects. And although it did make my acne go away, it literally destroyed my whole body. I got terrible shin splints on it the entire time. I tore both of my labrums bench pressing on my shoulder as soon as I increased the dose. And ever since then, for 2 years, I've had debilitating chronic pain. I've been in bed for the last 6 months before I started carnivore. And the doctors all told me it's in my head. The drug didn't cause it. And I just was in absolute agony, chronic pain, depression, had ADHD, and they said there's no cure for ADHD. I saw the doctors. They chucked me on Adderall, Vyvanse, Ritalin, all this stuff. And I was on so many drugs, and I've seen all my friends play sport. I'm just like, oh, this isn't really the life I want to live. I just feel pretty hopeless. And then, I gained a lot of weight. And at the start of this year, I was, going to go to university to study to be a physio because I really want to help kids with injuries. But I had to drop out because I was literally in so much pain in bed. I couldn't even move. And they told me that I'm stuck with this and that I'm going to have this for life. And I was just so upset. So I just started researching, looking for answers. And through many failed attempts of trying other stuff, trying all these medications, I found the Carnivore Diet. And it gave me so much hope, just like watching your videos or going on Reddit and looking at the zero carb space or finding out that there is maybe potentially a cure for ADHD. There is a way to reduce inflammation and chronic pain. And I just went all in. I didn't even care. My parents were saying, oh, maybe it's bad for your heart. It's not safe. But I didn't care if I get a heart attack. Life wasn't even worth living at that point. So I just went all in, and my life has gone full 360. I can't even explain it. I've lost 30 kilos in 5 months.
Wow.
I've cured all of my depression. I did not experience any depression. Chronic pain has gone down so much to now I'm just working with my physio on a little bit of weakness. I fully got my life back. So, and we had to start this YouTube channel, me and Ed. We started it around 3 months ago just because we need more people on this, more kids or more people who are suffering or just want to optimize their health. I'm so grateful for this diet and for the work that people like you have done, Shawn, and the message needs to get out there.
Yeah, I mean, you do bring, because I said it's a lot of older people that usually have disease, but it is an unfortunate and a very sobering fact that a lot of younger people now are actually developing disease. We see so many kids now with, and I call them kids, 20s, whatever. I mean, I'm freaking almost 60. It's like, all these people have depression and anxiety and all these mental health disorders, whether it's ADHD or some other issue, bipolar disorder, something like that. And then of course the obesity and we're seeing all these things. And the fact that you lost 30 kilos, and we'll put that into English, it's 66 pounds for you guys that don't do the metric math. But that's just tremendous. I would have never guessed. I mean, looking at you look like a pretty fit, young, healthy looking dude. And to imagine you with an extra 60 pounds of blood on you, I mean, you probably looked a lot different.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
Well, good for you. I mean, that's awesome. And so are you now, Ed said he was in university I can't tell, you guys are still in school? No? Yes?
Yeah. I'm in university right now.
Yeah. At the uni. Okay. I mean, a lot of people at university, they're stuck in a cafeteria and they got to eat what they got. Are you in that situation? You can eat whatever you want, basically.
No, I'm not actually staying at the college, on the university campus. So yeah, I just come in with my own food. So yeah, there's not really a cafeteria where I have to eat what they give me. I can choose what I eat during the day and things like that.
Yeah, good for you. I know, because what was it? Joey was saying he was at the University of California or UCLA, I think, was giving him a hard time about, when it's saying, hey, I'm a carnivore.
Yeah.
You'll cater to all these freaking vegans and people with, any allergies. If I say, hey, I don't do well with seed oils and all this crap, they're like, too bad, suck it up, dude. There is a bias, obviously. And it's, like I said, I mean, some people say, you're silly, you're just being carnivore. But I mean, for many people, legitimately, this way of eating and avoiding those foods is keeping them out of misery. I mean, there are people that literally, it's, I just talked to a fellow from Canada today. autoimmune disease, ankylosing spondylitis. He had horrible psoriatic arthritis and psoriasis, and just even certain things, certain fruits cause him to friggin' flame up. So I mean, it's not unheard of. And I know we have this concept that everybody's a snowflake, and we got a whiny generation coming up, and they need their safe spaces and all that crap. And I'm not to be dismissive and stuff, but I mean. Like I said, if you're going to make an exception for somebody with a peanut allergy or whatever says they choose a vegan diet, then, you should respect other people's wishes. What has been the reception like for your guys' channel? Because there aren't a lot of young dudes. They're more and more. We're getting more and more. But, some of it is it's kind of funny because I watch it. And some of it's people just trying to be outrageous. How many freaking testicles can you shove in your mouth? And all this crazy, just kind of like, it's all for the attention stuff. I mean, how have you guys been received so far, either in real life, on YouTube? I'll be honest, I haven't had a chance to see your guys' stuff, but how's it been?
Yeah. It's a tricky one actually, because I think I've been pretty lucky. People haven't been genuinely angry at me for being carnivore, or people haven't like genuinely bullied me for being carnivore or anything like that. Obviously, like, they think what you're doing is a little bit silly, or they think it's a bit crazy or whatever. But I think after you just kind of give it a bit of time, they kind of understand, okay, that's how you eat, whatever. Even when you meet new people and they learn that you eat carnivore, they're kind of a bit taken back and like, what the heck are you doing? Like, you being serious right now? And you being serious, you're not going to eat the salad and stuff like that. So yeah, people kind of like a bit confused and stuff. But after a while, I think people, especially with people that they start to respect you. Like right now, I'm camping right now, so we're cooking up, on barbecues, and my friends know that I'm carnivore, and I eat carnivore, and they kind of respect it now. So yeah, it's been alright, and it doesn't really, it's not a drawback from carnivore at all.
Yeah, it's I see you got a surf. It looks like a surfboard behind you in the vehicle there. So maybe you're doing a lot. Have you noticed? Because you had mentioned optimization, and I know Dan's talking about just not being fat and sick all the time. But I mean, has it optimized anything? Are you a better athlete, or I mean, what's gotten better for you when we talk about optimization?
Yeah. In terms of optimization, we're looking at sleep. So the sleep has definitely been optimized. Yeah, I go into bed and then I fall asleep pretty quickly. And then I sleep deeply throughout the entire night. I used to wake up a lot during the night. That kind of just stopped. Sleeping really deeply. Don't need as much sleep as well. So I definitely need 8 to 9 hours. Now I need like 7 to 8 hours. Not a big difference, but still noticeable. Also, athletic performance. Yeah, I think I have experienced an increase in that. My sprint speed has increased massively since going on carnivore. Could be, because of just more running training, but I don't really think so, because I've done this kind of running training before, but the gains in sprint speed have not been as drastic as this. So I'd probably put that down to carnivore. Also, just productivity. I find that I'm just more alert, more energy, and that kind of optimizes everything in your life as well. So if you're able to have more energy, you're able to be more focused, that's just going to increase your productivity. It's going to increase your output as a human, in total. So yeah, I think it definitely has optimized my health without question.
Yeah, I just wonder how many sort of negative human interpersonal reactions occur between different people just because people can't think clearly. I mean, it's frustrating. It's anxiety provoking. You can't maybe say what you mean to say, and somebody misinterprets because they don't understand correctly, and then you get all this sort of antipathy towards everybody because it's like my brain doesn't work right. And if you got everybody where their brain was actually working at near or full potential, possibly we might have a nicer, happier society there. So carnivore for you guys, what does it look like? Are you guys beef and salt? Are you guys eating fruit and honey, or are you doing what's your version? I mean, a lot of people have different quote unquote versions of this. I wrote the book, The Carnivore Diet, so I have my impression what a carnivore diet is, but I don't really care. At the end of the day, I'm just like, whatever's working for people is ultimately what I want to see. But what do you guys do? And do you notice any differences when you vary it up?
Yeah. So for me, I mainly just do beef, lamb. Like I just do all animal products. I don't have any fruit, just essentially animal products. I'll have eggs. I try and go grass fed or pasture raised, but sort of what's in my house, what I can do best with, and butter And then like Redmond's real salt or some sort of pink Himalayan salt, I find works well. And I find taking the notch up to that grass-fed does help a little bit. I don't know if it's placebo effect, but whatever it is, it helps. And I tried experimenting with a bit of fruit sometimes. And I do notice that I feel a little bit worse. I start to get stomach issues. And also it opens the sort of gateway for those carb sugar cravings, because I have a very addictive personality. If I have a little bit of fruit,
does it make you more hungry? Does it make you more hungry when you start putting a little fruit in there? Does it make you start thinking about other stuff and you get more hungry?
Yes. When I put fruit in, I'm like, oh, maybe I should just have like a few biscuits or, you know, like it's fruit's a no-go for me. But what about you, Ed?
It is a lot. It is just one of those, you know, what the hell? I already had a little bit of carbs, want a little more, you know, it can be a slippery slope. So sometimes it's just, some people need that discipline. It's like, it's very clear. This is what I'm supposed to do and this is not. And when you make it black and white for that, for some people, it makes it easier for them. And, you know, when you start like, I can have a handful of berries here and there. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, and I can do it every day. That wasn't so bad. And then, you know, it can become a slippery slope, but some people tolerate it fine. So Ed, what do you like? What do you do?
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. But yeah, for me, probably it's similar to Daniel. I eat beef, bacon, eggs, lamb, that kind of thing. But also I do sometimes add a little bit of fruit here and there. It'd probably be twice, probably like 2 to 4 times a week I'll have a bit of fruit. So, but it won't be much. It won't be a complete like 300 grams carbs, Paul Saladino type thing. It'll just be like a little bit of fruit in some yogurt, in some Greek yogurt. It's just something that's like nice, that I like. I don't have to eat it. I'm not chronically addicted to it. It's just kind of nice, and I don't know. I just kind of enjoy it, and yeah, it helps me stick to the diet more. I don't find myself binging too hard because the berries really aren't that sweet. So I don't really find myself falling into too much binging from that. So that's how I kind of roll.
Yeah, and you weren't walking around with an extra 30 kilos to deal with. And so, like I said, there's very different people out there that have different vulnerabilities and that sort of stuff. So how is, I mean, because, I don't live in Australia. I mean, I'd love to go down there. I lived in New Zealand once, but I never made it to Australia. And I know there's a little bit of a Tasman Sea sort of, cross town rivalry, so to speak, across the sea rivalry. But I know that there are a lot of, at least very vocal vegan activists in Australia, Melbourne, and some of these other places where you see people walking around putting, what's that lady's name? Tash something, I can't remember. They're running around putting blood all over her and screaming at everybody. Are you seeing a lot of that? I mean, in Sydney, I don't know what it's like. Are they, do you have a lot of that you deal with, or is that just headlines and sensationalism? It's not really what's going on.
There is. It's not as extreme. Like you won't just walk outside of your house and there just be like vegans screaming with like blue hair and stuff. But we went to the Sydney vegan markets. There's like markets they run every 3 weeks in Sydney Olympic Park. And it's just sort of free. Everyone can come. And we went there a few weeks ago and filmed the whole thing. And the vlog's going to be coming out like I think tomorrow. And it's actually really funny. Like we went in, we pretended to try some vegan food, but we didn't actually want to touch that because it was just all sugar and rubbish. And then we actually did have some nice conversations with some vegans and, some sort of more debate-ish style things, which was pretty fun. It was kind of hard because we didn't want to be rude. We tried to be respectful and have a nice debate. But a lot of the times, like some of them have been vegans for 10, 15 years and I'm sort of just telling them about the anti-nutrients in vegetables and plants and they don't even know or they're not even aware. And like, I'm asking them, I'm like, okay, I don't eat any vegetables. I'm a carnivore. So would I be missing out on any like, any nutrients from plants, any benefits? And I like hold the mic over to them and then they just go blank. They don't even know. Or like maybe they say vitamin C or something, which we know that our threshold is much lower anyways. But yeah, do you want to add anything, Ed? The vegans?
No, I think you covered it. Like the vegans, yeah, you don't really see them marching around. Like obviously there's a couple of vegans that sit in the middle of the road and trying to stop the traffic in Sydney City. But yeah, the vegans that we interacted with, they seem pretty nice. I think vegans and carnivores are actually very similar in regards that, they care about their health a lot. They care about their health. We just do it a lot differently, and some of them obviously are crazy, but a lot of them are willing to, hear you out. Actually, not really, but, they kind of want to hear you out. So, yeah, that's what I got to say.
Yeah, I mean, my interactions are almost exclusively online. And so you get, these people that they're behind the keyboard and they're anonymous and there's no, they say stupid stuff, I think. And I mean, the few I've interacted with personally in real life have been very nice. And I'm generally, I'm very, what I would say is very happy for them to be able to do what they want to do. And I'm not going to call them a vegetable murderer or a cruelty person, because, it's just, that's the thing that sort of gets to you, is when somebody's saying, hey, I'm eating in a way that's making me the healthiest. I'm doing it not because I hate animals. I'm doing it because this is what makes me healthy. And this is what I feel I need. And yet they're going to call you somehow unethical or something like that, which doesn't make sense to me. I mean, I guess I get their perspective, but I just disagree with it, I suppose. As far as when you guys, I guess, decided to do this, I mean, there probably were some trepidation. I'm saying, what the hell is this? It's because, we're so used to, I mean, if you grew up in Mongolia, in rural Mongolia, and somebody said, hey, we're going to eat a carnivore diet, you're like, well, that's like every weekday. It's like Tuesday or something like that. Maybe we get some yogurt on a weekend. I don't know. I mean, depending on what part of the world you're in. I mean, in Western society, it's very common that we have access to everything. Everything's imported from all the world. We grew up, we didn't grow up 100 years ago where you ate was only local to you, which would have been probably 10 or 20 foods. Now you can go to this literally supermarket and there are literally 5,000 different products that you can participate in. So we were so used to all this variety, which, is a relatively modern phenomenon. But when you go into this and you're like, well, this is really strange. I'm only eating, beef and eggs and lamb and maybe a little dairy products. And I mean, were you concerned about any negative things happening to you, and did anything bad happen to you? Were there any transition issues that you ran into?
I think I wasn't actually too worried because I'd kind of seen my dad and how he felt, and he felt amazing. I kind of already got that first-hand experience from him. I could kind of see what happened to him. And then also just kind of did a bit of research about nutrition, and it seemed like we could get all of our nutrients from animal products, and we didn't actually need all this other things that you can find in the grocery store. So I thought, okay, it should be okay. And then when I actually hopped on the carnivore diet, I was already trying kind of low-carb keto diets. So I didn't really experience that keto flu that a lot of people do experience when they completely, get rid of carbs. Like, let's say they're already eating 300, 400 grams of carbs a day and then they go to zero. They're going to feel like rubbish when they go to carnivore. But for me, it was a pretty seamless transition. So I didn't really experience too much bad. I think the thing that was bad was just kind of issues with digestion and stool issues for a few days or maybe a week or so, just kind of adjusting. But other than that, it was pretty good for me since I was already on keto, I reckon.
Yeah. Dan, you had, you like I said, you had a lot of weight to lose. You had, issues with, like you said, depression and things like that. When did it start clicking for you? When did you know, like, was it immediately that you felt better, or was it a weekend, a month in? What was the deal for you?
Man, the start was really bad for me because I was literally eating like 4 pizzas a day. I was just binge eating. I was just trying to it was horrible at first for like the first 2 weeks. But then I started noticing my skin got better. And also after 2 weeks, I had this tendonitis in my hamstring that I've had for a year. I've done rehab on it. I've tried to fix it. It just like went, most of it. I was able to walk again. I was like, what the heck? Like, it literally just started. I was able to walk and my doctors thought it was like a miracle after 2 weeks. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then day by day, the benefit just started revealing itself after about week 2 or 3. Once I got past the explosive diarrhea and stuff, then I just started feeling amazing, and it just kept on going. And the benefits even are still going till this day today, like 5 months in. And every time I go back to cheat, like say if I'm out somewhere and I cheat, I just feel absolutely terrible, even if it's like fruits and stuff. So I don't think that I'm going back anytime soon. It just sort of, I think that's the beautiful thing. You can just trust your body now. Like, okay, eat some food. Your body can accurately respond to the food that you've eaten to tell you whether it wants it or not. And in most cases, if I eat fruit or something or some junk, it's not going to like it. So let's just stick to what I'm doing.
Yeah. I mean, the critics would say, well, you don't have to go on an extreme diet, a carnivore diet. I mean, you're, overweight guy. Why don't you just, manage your calories, eat a higher protein diet, exercise, eat a balanced diet. All you got to do is stop eating junk food, increase your protein and exercise, and go in a caloric deficit. I mean, surely you'd heard that before, something similar to that. And had you ever tried that? And if so, if you did, Why do you think it didn't work?
Yeah, well, I did try that, but like it didn't work for me personally because I have a binge eating personality. So if I'm letting any carbs in or any of that, whether it's pasta or whether it's these protein shakes or things that have carbs in it, it's just going to open the gateway for me. And it wasn't enough to decrease the inflammation. I think really reducing the carbohydrates and a lot of the anti-nutrients in plants, like lectins, which can which can add to inflammation, I really think helped. And yeah, I just think this whole balanced diet thing is a bit of a scam. I think that vegetables aren't really food for humans, more for, herbivores, which we're not anymore, or we're not. So yeah, I think the whole balanced diet, like bodybuilding thing, is a bit of a scam. And I think that, as we see through you, Shawn, building great muscle in the carnivore diet, I think that is the most optimal diet for pretty much all areas of human life.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's certainly, obviously, to be fair, that's certainly a debatable statement. I mean, I'm certainly happy to see more people do it, and I see people have huge wins with it all the time. So it's at least an option. I think it's an option people should entertain. And, the thing about the vegetables, I mean, I would say they're filler. I mean, if you're hungry and you fill your belly up with vegetables, you're not going to be quite as hungry, and that may be a benefit to it. But as far as do they provide the dense amount of nutrition that say a steak or something or some eggs would? I mean, I would disagree with that pretty clearly. I think that's a fair statement. When you cheat, because people will say, well, what is a cheat? And you said fruit. Well, most people say fruit's pretty healthy. And I think, for many people it is. But, it's interesting because one of the thoughts is, because there's no fiber in this diet. And I get this all the time. Well, all these longevity epidemiologic studies are associated with longevity. So what's the mechanism of action? Well, we think that fiber produces a thicker mucus layer in the gut, which provides protection to the colonocytes. Well, the question is, why is the fiber producing a thicker mucus layer? Because it's an irritant, and what happens is the sort of the mucosal layer, the intestinal epidermis says, I'm being irritated, so it secretes mucus to protect itself. And you're like, well, okay, maybe you eat something that doesn't irritate it, and it doesn't need that thick mucus layer. Interesting. It's kind of an interesting type of thing. And because people ask about that. I mean, the most common, well, not the most, but one of the most common things is, oh my God, your cholesterol. The other thing people say is, you're going to be constipated all the time. How can you have a bowel movement without fiber? What say you guys? Have you guys not had a bowel movement in 5 months? Is it all, you guys is full of shit or something like that? Or what's going on there with that part of life?
No, we've had a couple bowel movements in the 5 months, I think.
2 or 3, right?
Yeah. No, it's been fine.
Yeah, that's usually what I see. I mean, it's usually fine. I mean, some people, when they transition, they won't have one for a few days, maybe even a week. But it's just getting used to not having all this massive undigestible or indigestible fiber that you just can't use, and it just goes right through you. So, what's your favorite things to eat? What do you guys? I mean, are you guys like me? Are you guys Scotch fillet guys, or what's the best thing? And in Australia, knows lamb. I've had some great lamb when I. Different parts of the world. When I lived in New Zealand, I played rugby down there. I played, in something called Waikato. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the, New Zealand provinces, perhaps, but I played in there against a lot of the All Blacks were in there, so I got to jump on the field with some of those guys. And lamb, man, it was lamb and roast kumara. And I don't know if kumara is in Australia, but in New Zealand, that was a sweet potato. I had it friggin' every time I visited somebody's house. That was a dish. I got sick of lamb. In fact, so I didn't eat it for about 10 years, but now it's good. So what are you guys eating? What's your favorite food?
Yeah, I was loving like steaks. So I'd have porterhouse. I don't know if you guys have porterhouse where you guys are.
Sure.
I don't really know what that might be.
You might call it something different. So porterhouse looks like a T-bone. What do you guys call a porterhouse?
Yeah, I think porterhouse is one of the sides. It's the longer side of the T-bone.
Okay, so we'll call that a New York strip here. So yeah, the porterhouse we call in the U.S. a porterhouse is a T-bone, and one side is New York strip, and the other side is a fillet. And specifically, the fillet has to be in excess of, I think, 2 inches to be considered a porterhouse. If it's less than, it's just a T-bone. So anyway, that's some steak terminology. So you guys like the strips?
I like
that.
Okay,
got it. Okay, so that's good. Yeah, it's the strip. A lot of people like it's more flavorful. It tends to be a very flavorful cut. It's not quite as fatty as a ribeye, but it's very good. I enjoy that. I have a lot of those strips too. They're great.
But lamb as well. I've been having a bit of lamb recently, just kind of roasted, and that the fatty outside gets crispy, and with salt, and Like that can be, I've been having that recently. My dad's been cooking that up and it's just unbelievable. So I just love that.
So fair enough to say at least your father is supportive of you since he's doing it himself. Danny, what about you? His family, like, what the hell are you doing? You're going to kill yourself? Quit hanging out with that Ed character. He's going to kill you. What's going on with that?
No, my parents love Ed, but at first, like, they were just desperate for me to get better, and they saw like living proof every day in my transformations. So they can't really say anything. And as learning about the carnivore diet and just starting this YouTube channel, learning and trying to learn more about nutrition, I've have all this information that I've learned, and I'm still learning in my head, and I needed someone to tell. So I've just been going on rants about, the food pyramid and all this stuff, and telling them about how the carnivore diet's so good all the time. And now my mom has started carnivore, and my dad's like keto sort of, but they still have like nuts and fruit. But I'm just making meat all the time. And so they're just going to eat it. You know what I mean? So it's really beautiful to see them, have a lot more meat, because we never used to have meat. It was more pasta because I'm from an Italian background.
Yeah, it's good when you got the support of the family, because a lot of people don't. I mean, it's kind of tough. What about, like friends and stuff like that? Are you guys converting anybody? Do you get anybody else in the cult here? I mean, we're starting this little religious cult, as some people will call us, but I mean, are you able to?
We are, Ed, aren't we, a bit? Like,
are you getting, well, I mean,
I don't want to say names, but
it's probably not hard to get at least other guys, hey man, eat some more steaks or something like that. I mean, that's not too hard.
Yeah.
I mean, what's been your success rate?
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty like to me at least, it's an attractive diet. Like you get to eat more steak, you get to eat more beef, you get to eat more red meat, the stuff that you're told that you shouldn't eat as much. Damn, this is awesome. But I don't know, man. I think there's a lot of younger guys out there that have lower testosterone, so they're kind of less open to the idea, and they kind of, they say how they like their salads and things like that.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had a couple of, people become a lot more animal based. Yeah, that's right. A lot more people have been more animal based, but fully carnivore. I don't know if you've converted anyone fully. What do you reckon, Dan? I
think, like, I don't want to say names, but in case they're watching, but I think we have like one or two fully, or we actually got this, we've got like some people who are a bit bigger than us on YouTube to try it, some vegetarians and stuff, but it's hard going from a vegetarian diet to a carnivore diet. But yeah, we actually don't get much pushback. We're surprised, and most kids our age don't really care about their health anyways too much, because they think they just feel fine just eating what they're doing. And I mean, sure, but when they get older, they hopefully won't, but they probably will run into some issues. So hopefully they can remember those crazy carnivore guys when they're younger, and maybe hear us out.
Yeah, I mean that is really the crazy thing about this business model of junk food. I mean, because this is always a target demographic is this like 14 to 29 age group. If you can suck these people into it, I mean, a lot of times they're customers for life, and so you get them eating the Tim Tams or whatever the hell you guys eat down there, and just kind of like eating that crap, and then it's just like you just get used to it, and it doesn't mess you up, and you're like, well, I ate it for 5 years and it's fine. How could it possibly be killing me? And then after 30 years later, you're like, oh shit, I got to clean things up. So, I mean, it's a great sort of thing. It's almost like drug addiction, really. I mean, kind of it is. I mean, it really sort of is when you got all this stuff. I think a lot of people are literally addicted to this junk food, and whether it's sugary food or whatever, sugar, salt, sweet, the little bliss point combo it's everywhere. I would imagine, the Australian health guidelines are probably similar to U.S. health guidelines. I'm sure they are. Eat more fiber, eat more fruits and vegetables, minimize red meat, don't eat butter. Oh my God, keep your fat down low. Is that something that you guys are seeing is that you see, media about that all the time?
Yeah, 100%. It's been drilled in since we were young as well. I remember learning about the food pyramid when we were in
like
school.
Year 3.
And in the food pyramid, it's funny because there's not even any room for like fatty cuts of meat. Because in the food pyramid, I think it's the second one from the top to the one that you shouldn't be eating. It says lean meat and poultry or whatever, and fish. So it's like fatty meat is like the absolute worst thing they should have. It's not even on the pyramid at all. Like you should never even ever have it.
Yeah, and we sort of just thought like, oh yeah, like vegetables are healthy, fatty meat is bad, butter's bad for you. We didn't really question it because it was drilled into our heads for so long. And we're still now like, obviously we know fatty meat is good for you now, but we're still like still some days there's some of that brainwashing like deep into my brain. I've got to like, get out of there. I'm still trying to get rid of that. Just that drilling of just absolute nonsense that like fat is bad for you and saturated fat is going to give you a heart attack. What is it? Was it Scott Morrison? Is he the head dude of you guys? He like the Prime Minister of Australia, or what do you guys call your top guy?
He lost the last presidential race, so he's not the prime minister anymore.
Okay, so maybe, I'm just wondering who the new dude is, or female, I'm not sure who's there, but if they'll walk up one day and just say, hey, guess what, guys, we're wrong, eat a bunch of steak. When do you think that's going to happen? You think you're ever going to see that? You think you're going to see somebody come up there and just say, hey, guys, just eat more steak? And I don't know. I don't know if we'll ever see that. Hopefully we will one day. Depends on.
No, never.
Well, never say never. If you guys do if you guys do a good enough job, maybe you can change it, because there's only how many Australians are there? Is there something like 25 million, if I'm not mistaken? 26 million.
Yeah,
so that's not that many people. we got about a little over 10, 100, 10 times, 15 times more people here, so it's harder to move that, but. Maybe, how are are they, I know like in New Zealand, they're going to start taxing cow farts or something like that. They're putting a methane tax on cows. Is that happening in Australia too? You think you guys are going to do, New Zealand going to export some of their stupidity to you guys, or?
I hope not. I think, I don't think that will happen for a while in Australia. I think Australia, relatively conservative with agriculture. But I definitely could be wrong. That could change real fast. But yeah, I've visited a couple farms in recent months, and a lot of what they're doing some really good things. So I really hope not, because a lot of what they're doing is actually helping the environment. So yeah.
Yeah, but we have something called, like, I think, is it meat-free Mondays or something? Remember what those vegans were talking about at the markets? Mm-hmm. It was like...
I think that's a worldwide thing.
But also, like, at Grilled, they had like a 2-for-1, like you can replace your meat patty, but you get like 2 plant-based patties or something, which is like basically just dog food.
Yeah, you get a discount.
So so give up nutrition and you get double the toxic sludge for what?
Essentially dog food.
Sounds like a deal. Yeah, it is kind of human food there. Yeah. So how about, you guys are young guys. A lot of people say, hey, it's unaffordable. I can't afford to eat meat. It's too expensive. Unless you guys maybe hit the lottery or you're making a bunch of money on your YouTube channel. I don't know. How expensive is it to do carnivore as a couple of young guys in Australia?
I think you can't afford not to eat meat. It's so good for you. And so there's like the direct cost of meat and then the indirect costs. So the direct cost of meat isn't even that expensive. I'm eating less. I'm not snacking. And personally for me, because it's so filling and satiating, I'm eating less, and I'm not spending as much money on pills or psychologist appointments or physio appointments and stuff, or like trips to the doctor. So it's saving money in the short term, and then in the long term, just time. Cooking is so quick. Get better sleep, optimizing my productivity so I can work harder on the YouTube channel and other things when I go to uni this year. So I just think you can't afford not to go at least eat some meat, because it really will upgrade your life in so many ways.
Yeah, again, I've maintained that many times. I don't think everybody needs to go all full carnivore. Some people definitely can benefit from that, but not everybody is. But I do think, the more meat you eat, the less crap you're going to eat. And meat is a very healthy food. And the fact that we've had it beaten into us that it's bad, and then we're like, well, what else is left that has energy, that tastes good? And it isn't quinoa and kale. It's not. It's freaking junk food. This is where you get a lot of energy. It's like, well, you can grind up some chickpeas or something like that and make some hummus. But give me an Oreo cookie if I'm going to eat that. So that's me. That's me, and I think a lot of people like me, and so I think that's one of the reasons why this, meat-based approach, whether fully carnivore, animal-based, keto, low-carb, whatever, tends to work well for a lot of people just because of that. As you'd mentioned binge eating, and I think, because people talk about eating disorders. Well, carnivore is an eating disorder. Veganism is an eating disorder. But, honestly, I think the standard Western diet is really an eating disorder. Because you're literally poisoning yourself day in and day out. For lack of, I think that's just a true thing. And it's like the hallmark of an addiction is doing something repeatedly despite knowing it's bad for you. I don't think it's any surprise to anyone if you say, well, if you just eat chocolate bars and candy and cakes and, potato chips all day long, I don't think anybody understands that that's not bad for them, but yet they do it anyway. and then they justify it, or then you have some nutritionists saying, well, in moderation, and then no one can moderate this stuff. And then it just turns out that the American Nutrition and Dietetics Organization just was revealed that they are they're both investing in and receiving millions of dollars from PepsiCo and Nabisco and Nestle and all these friggin' giant processed food companies, and yet they're directing food policy and making guidelines. And so it is curious and suspicious, and no wonder that that's going on. Are you familiar with some of the? I mean, I know some of my friends in the physician world. We got Dr. Paul Mason, Pran Yoganathan. Some of these other guys are carnivore-ish, carnivore-friendly guys. Do you ever run into those guys? I think Paul's in Sydney, if I'm not mistaken. Have you guys talked with him or anything like that?
No, I haven't talked with Paul, but we've seen some of his work, especially the one
the fiber study.
Yeah, the fiber study. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
did one on fiber, yeah.
And then I think Dr. Chafee, Anthony's down there somewhere. I can't remember if he's in Sydney or where he's at. I think he's
in Perth, I think. Oh,
okay.
Yeah, Perth.
So he's that's in Western Australia, correct? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I know a little bit of geography. So you guys are in New South Wales, right? Is that correct? Am I right on that? Or no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
good. God.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Well done.
Yeah.
Sydney.
Probably better than most Americans could get. Yeah. Yeah. Sydney. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So, and what other things? So what else you guys want to chat about? What other things are out there that you guys like to talk about?
What do you want to chat about, Ed?
Let me just check the time because I have to go at.
I was going to say you could talk about how great Dr. Baker. No, I'm just kidding.
Sorry, I love you.
Okay, all good. Do you want to chat about?
Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. What do you guys hope to do? I mean, you guys are both in university. I mean, I don't know if you want to get full-time jobs or you want to be full-time, YouTube people. I mean, because you can make a living doing that. There's people. It's kind of funny the way the world is working now. I mean, there's people that, they got the real job where they're going to college and they got a business degree and they do whatever. Or there's some people who are saying, hey, I'm just gonna do my own thing. And, I don't know. See, I guess if you're single, I guess, I don't know if you, I guess it's both are single, I guess, for would-be female carnivores out there that might want to hook up or something. Anyway,
there's none in Sydney. We're yet to find one.
There are no female carnivores in Sydney? I doubt.
Oh, no. Well,
I bet there are.
There probably is.
I bet there are. I know. I would almost guarantee there are.
No, there are, but they're older, I think.
They're older. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, it depends what your definition of old is. I don't want to go too far down this road. I get too goofy. So what is the plan? Do you guys have a near-term plan with the channel, with life in general?
Yeah. So I think we're both just going to go to, just finish school, go to college, get a degree and just work a 9 to 5. But I think we want to sort of push ourselves further than that. And the Carnivore Diet, seeing the growth and we really want to help people, right? And we think that YouTube is a great way to do that. And I don't know if we want to really work for someone our whole lives. We'd rather maybe, work for ourselves or start something and really make a big impact in people's lives. So we're both at uni this year, but we're really going to try to dedicate some time to growing our YouTube, really helping people, spreading the message a lot, because we are a bit fed up with a lot of this nonsense that meat is bad for you. And we really just want to see kids' lives or even people's lives in general change from this message that it has changed for me and for Ed. And we think it's honestly priceless. Anything you want to add, Ed?
So I'm at uni right now. I think I'm just going to finish. I think we're just going to finish the degree, but definitely be working hard on the side, trying to make an impact with this YouTube thing. University is a tricky one now because there's so much cheating that happens in university. These new AI bots that have come out that can do your homework for you and things like this. I'm just not too sure how valuable degrees will be. And I know for myself, when I'm at uni, I'm doing the work, it's kind of fun and all, but I don't really enjoy the work itself. And I don't really feel like I'm benefiting much at all from what I'm learning. But I feel like I'm just going to stick out the degree because that's what everyone's saying. But also at the same time, I don't really know what to do. So,
it's an interesting point because you've got this Chat GP AI, and it's kind of funny because some people are testing it and it's got this sort of directive not to say certain things. It'll say if you want to make it do something, so no, I can't do this because fossil fuels are killing the earth, and you can't make an argument for them. I mean, it's kind of goofy. So, I mean, but if you know, if you think about it, if you're saying, well, if the chat, you know, if the AI is doing your homework for you, then it can freaking do your job for you too. Then, I mean, it's just like, you know, whatever degree you're going to get that an AI could do quicker and better, then just give that guy the job, you know? And so I mean, it's kind of an interesting situation. You know, maybe there'll be AI YouTube channels where they'll just have some little talking avatars having a AI generated conversation. I mean, it's really weird. We're in a really weird place in the world. I really do. I think it's kind of crazy. I mean, are we going to be, you know, is it going to be this WALL-E? I don't know if you remember the cartoon, the movie from the, I don't know when it was 10, 15 years ago, WALL-E, where all these fat humans are floating around in their floaty chairs and robots are, and all they do is surf around and stare at their screen all day long. I mean, we're getting there, man. It's kind of crazy. Well, I'll tell you what, guys, I know you guys, looks like you guys got to run, but it's been a pleasure. Your channel is Carnivore Vitality, correct? Did I get that right? Carnivore Vitality?
Yes.
Or do you guys have any other social media?
Right.
You guys have any other social media you want to share? Instagram, whatever, TikTok, something like that?
Yeah, we got Instagram and we got TikTok as well. We haven't really been too active on those. We've just been focusing on YouTube, but in the future, we'll probably get back on those. Yeah, well, good luck to you guys. I hope you get the message out there, because I mean, as much as I'm out there, I don't relate to the younger people as well as young people relate to young people, you know, and it's just something that, I mean, honestly, you know, when I'm friggin', you know, hopefully 98 years old and friggin' demented and can't take care of myself, I need somebody to change my diapers. I mean, I'm not there, but I mean, you know, you guys are going to be the ones that are running the world, and hopefully you got some people with some common sense, like you said, that can think clearly and not all friggin' fatheads, you know, when they're obese, their brains. I mean, literally, when you're morbidly obese or obese, your brain doesn't work as well. I mean, there's clear data that shows that. So if we got those people running the world and making decisions for the rest of us who can't, you know, aren't in a position to sort of fight back, it's kind of a scary place. So good luck for you guys. Thanks for stepping up and doing what you're doing. Appreciate it. Thanks for taking the time to chat. And good luck to you guys. All right. Thank you so much, Shawn.
Appreciate it, guys.
Thanks so much for having us on, Shawn.
Thanks for the rest of you guys. We'll be back tomorrow morning. You guys take care. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Carnivore Vitality. You guys go check them out. Bye-bye now. Hey, folks, it's Dr. ShawnBaker here. If you guys are enjoying these success stories, well, you can become your own success story. You can do that by heading over to CarnivoreDiet. You can sign up for a free 30-day trial and get started today. We're looking forward to supporting you. Our community is wonderful, and we'd love to see your success.